I want to add a new button today because I want to add a new feature, which is blocking. First, I'm going to look at the virtual input manager. Now, before we do anything, we need to assign a new key. And I think I'm just going to do that in this video. So under the enum input key type, I'm going to add a blocking key. So this is what represents the key press for the block. If I look at some of the other key presses, find all references. We're also using other scripts like manual input. We also have player input. I should clean this up later on, but for now we don't have too many keys. I think it's okay for now. We should also take a look at character control. So Control T, character control. So I think you can look at it this way. Player input is where the update occurs. We're checking for the keyboard presses, joystick, mouse, whatever. We're looking for the key presses here. And then the key presses get saved up in the virtual input manager. This is also the place where we can bind up different keys. We could use default keys, or depending on your preferences, you can also set up different keys for different actions. And when you make the key presses, manual input will relay that keys to the character controls variables, these things, and these are the actual variables that make the character move. I'm going to go back to the virtual input manager, and I'm going to start doing the exact same thing that I'm doing with some of the other keys. So right now I'm looking at jump, and I'm going to copy paste and do the same thing for the block. Input key type is block. Character control should have a block variable. We don't have it yet, so I'm going to go to character control, creatable variable called block. Let me also take a look at some of the other parts. So this is for the double tap. Oh wait, we haven't fixed this part yet. This should also be block. And again, we don't have a block variable for the virtual input manager. Okay, and let me go through the other keys. Same thing here with the virtual input manager. If you press block, return this variable true. If not, we turn it back to false, just like all the other keys. And I'll continue. Okay, this is the default keys. I do the same thing with the blocks. Key block, and the default key will be, I think I'm going to use the right mouse button here. If you don't have a gaming keyboard or a mechanical keyboard, if you press too many keys, it's not going to get registered. So for now, let me use the right mouse click. I think I'm going to change the default attack to left mouse click, but I'm going to do that later. And let me check the other code. Okay, this is the custom key binding. If the binding key is block, we change the binding. We need a new variable called bind block. Let me go to character control and make sure that we have the lines that are changing the variables. Okay, let me also check the editor, make sure that there's no errors. Now, I'm not sure if you remember the scriptable object where we saved the default keys. If this is 0, everything goes back to default. If the list is empty, everything goes back to default. So if I play, okay, we now have mouse 1, which is right click for the default button for the block. And let me take a look at Sophie. Okay, if I right click, you see the block variable being turned on and off. Okay, same thing with the other keys. Okay, looks like the button is working. And I also want to make sure that the double tap is working. Proc double tap for the block. Let me put a breakpoint here, F9, attached to Unity. Okay, so if I do a single slow press, you see the variable being changed. We're not getting the debug yet, but now if I do a double click, there we have the double tap. Okay, it looks like the buttons are working fine. Again, I think I should clean up the code later on, but for now I think it's okay. And in the next video, I'm going to start actually adding the block motions and all the other stuff that comes along with it. So that's it for this video. Thanks for watching.